So, Travis Moddison, Director of Bands, Ashland High School. Thank you for all that you're doing with all the music. And you've got quite a bit of music normally on your hands between the wind ensemble, the symphonic band, the jazz band. So, what are you doing this year with COVID?
Yeah, it's definitely different. The ensembles experience is much different than the traditional classroom environment. Um, we're actually able to round out students' music education and do some things that maybe when we're in the regular classroom we don't spend as much time on, like music theory knowledge and some other sight reading skills and some music history components, which has been really kind of fun and exciting. But at the same time, the trade off is we don't have that same level of connection and closeness that we have when we play music together. We're missing that for sure. And
Yeah. So, have you been able to create any music with the students this year?
we have, yep. In the large ensembles, we're working on a couple of multi-tracking projects. At the beginning of the year, we focused a lot on music playing technique. It's very common for students to be taking the summer off playing their instrument, which not always a bad thing actually, because we start afresh in the fall. And so with the late start, we got started on a couple of multi-tracking projects after Halloween. So we're working on those in the large ensemble. Jazz bands recording a couple of tracks as well, and putting those together virtually is a challenge, and it's it can be exhausting for the students, and the technology snags and the frustration of recording yourself and all those things are definitely a new thing for a lot of the students, but they're showing a lot of determination and grit and perseverance in getting them done, and they're turning out pretty good. So I look
Yeah.
forward to sharing those with you all. And the other class that we have a lot of content coming out of this year is the creative music making class, which is new to Ashland High School.
Yeah, that's a great thing to start in a year where everybody has to be sitting at home by themselves because it could be something that people do by themselves. And what software are your kids using?
So the school district helped us out by getting all the students a subscription to Soundtrap, which is an online digital audio workstation, which is really great.
Mhm.
So we're very grateful for that. But in the creative music making class, we're not necessarily teaching a specific software, but more the skills for the
Mhm.
students. And so the students are using everything from LMMS, excuse me, to Ableton Live, to a really interesting chiptune audio creating software that I didn't even know, which is online, called beatbox.co. And then they're also using Soundtrap. So they're using a wide array of digital audio workstations to create, and it's been pretty cool to see them
Yeah,
all come
well,
at it their own way.
that's fantastic. Kudos to you for keeping something that normally is a whole bunch of people in a super spreader situation in one room going with each kid individually being at home. That must be a nightmare at first blush, but it's amazing you've been able to get the kids to collaborate on some stuff. So, any particular plans for the spring semester?
Well, yeah, spring semester, we're hoping to get the jazz festival back up again. One of the big events that we've been doing every year is the jazz festival, which has been happening in January. And so we partnered with the Brit Festival Education Department and Siskiyou Music Projects and the Ashland Schools Foundation. We were able to put together this really cool kind of group of people working together. And last year it was an awesome event. It was one of our last events before COVID. And so we're looking at how to make that virtual. And so we'll be finding a date sometime in the spring to try and bring students from around Southern Oregon and maybe even farther this year together to do some jazz work and some collaboration with a couple of professionals. So we're working on that. We still don't know what that looks like in the virtual environment. And then we're hoping to continue with solo and ensemble, which will happen again this year, but it will be virtual. So getting the details ironed out of how we're going to manage that, and how there will continue to be some kind of state and regional festival around that, so that is another fun, exciting project that we're working on. And then music theory. We've got music theory back in the curriculum for the first time in many years. It's been great to have. And those students are pressing forward as several of them are looking at going off to study music in college. So music theory is really vital for them to be successful.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thanks for everything you're doing, Travis. It's great to see you keeping the music playing during COVID. So
thank you. Keep wearing your masks, everybody.
yeah.